McDuff.
Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and today myself and Susan are going to sit down and discuss a 1947 movie. Yes, we've gone way back today to a classic. People do say it's a classic fantasy romantic movie. Um, we're talking The Ghost and Mrs. Muir. Uh, with Gene Tierney and Rex Harrison in the lead as the ghost. Is it Captain Greg? Is it?
Yep.
Um, it's a story about a widow who wants to up sticks, move away from the mother-in-law and overbearing sister-in-law, and start life on her own in a seaside town in uh, in old England, which is strange because it was all filmed in California. Hey ho.
Well,
Uh, so there you go. And of course, the house she buys is haunted from the past residents, Captain Greg. Um, so we'll go over to Susan with her opening thoughts on the ghost and Mrs. Muir. Over to you, Susan.
okay. Well, Rex Harrison, you may know Rex Harrison from My Fair Lady because he played the doctor in that one, and that was sort of platonic love story in many ways. This is also in that genre, in that field, a platonic love story. He went on to be, I think he was in the Lovebirds, but I'm not entirely sure. Um, I don't remember who exactly was in that, but he started out these being the leading man in all of these platonic love stories. Platonic because they barely kiss. I mean, there's barely any interaction, physical contact, stuff like that. It's
He's a ghost.
challenging.
That's right.
Well, I know it's right, but it's different. It's nothing like Lady Chatterley's Lover, that's for dang sure.
Oh no.
The important thing to realize when you're watching these is that uh the supernatural seems just normal to Lucy Muir, to Mrs. Muir. That supernatural habitation of her home. It's just so much, normality. She doesn't go to the ladies of the church and ask for a exorcism or something like that. She doesn't call up the Winchester boys and ask them to burn the bones and sprinkle salt on the floor, or get, it's just she learns to embrace, to fall in love with the ghost. So in that, it's more like that movie Ghost,
Mm-hmm.
that other one, that but this one, she didn't know him beforehand. She didn't know anything about him beforehand. He came to her as a stranger, and in that respect, he's a bit overbearing. So, just
Mm.
challenged. This is a really, it's a fun supernatural comedy. Comedy because it's sort of funny in places, like like when George Sanders comes on as Miles Fairley, like her one of her book guys. Like, she's just like, all of a sudden he's all into her. He just can't get enough of her. And then the neighbors, and her house, the lady of the house, um Mrs. what's her name? um,
Martha.
Martha here, yeah, and then her daughter Anna, um, no, her daughter, yeah, her daughter Anna also fell in love, but with uh with someone who carved her name in this thing, and so that became sort of a telltale sign of age passing. I mean, they had to do it somehow because the house itself wasn't changing very much. It was just this one sort of support beam for this sort of dock type thing. Anyway, it was just interesting. I really enjoyed it. First time seeing it.
Mm.
Um, I have seen Rex Harrison and My Fair Lady about 6 times. So I mean,
Oh,
like this wasn't the thing that I circled around for him. You know, this was more. You know, what is what is this all about? It was fun. It was fun to watch, and there were some different. I mean, he wasn't Casper. He wasn't a super friendly ghost. He definitely had uh he had uh his plans for the future, and he was going to curse those who stood in the way of his plans. So that was challenging. Yeah, it was just interesting. It was a good story. It was a real good
mm.
story. Anyway, yeah, those are my opening thoughts. Lee?
Thank, thank you, Susan. Yeah, I always enjoy when we delve back into the older movies because some people haven't, as you've just said there, never seen this one before, and you sit down and you enjoy them, enjoy watching them. So great stories. This one is not no different. Yeah, as you mentioned, the Lucy Muir, Mrs. Muir, isn't really taken aback by having a ghost in the house.
No.
Well, she was quite upfront and ballsy about it. That it's her house now,
Yep.
and she has sort of bargains with the ghost. She has to bargain with the ghost about, oh yes, you can stay then, all right then, but you know, it's I'll stay. I'll just stay in the one room of the house. Um, and I say Rex Harrison is the ghostly captain. Yeah, he's gruff to begin with. He because he doesn't really know Mrs. Muir. He's trying to scare her off. But then you can see the ghost warms to her, and
Yeah.
her ways, and comes up with this great idea of writing his life story, which she does, and the book sells really well. Um, I just like this portrayal of the captain, me dear, every time, me dear. Um, just a typical old sea dog.
Yep.
Uh, I mean, I didn't really, as I said at the beginning of the thing, it's supposed to be set in a coastal seaside town in England, in the UK. Um, you get the feel of that, you really do.
Yeah.
Um, but then you find out it was all filmed in California.
Yep.
So you have all the English actors in this, typical actors, Rex Harrison and George Sanders. I mean, George Sanders. Every time I hear his voice, I just visualize Shere Khan now. That was the Walt Disney Jungle Book
Of the
because
Jungle Book. Yeah.
he voiced Shere Khan the tiger.
Yep.
Um, oozing evil, which he used to. in his other movies, he did play quite the bad boys, the cads. Um, and this is no difference. He was ended up, she found out he was married with kids, with children. So she went back to the cottage and stayed there until the end of her days
Yeah.
alone because uh, the ghost the ghost left because she was in love with Fairley. So he didn't want to come in between them,
Yep.
and she never saw him again.
She
Never saw
never
him again
saw
for the rest of her life until
she
she
never saw
died.
Fairly for the rest of her life, and she never saw the ghost for the rest of her life.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, and he came back. The Captain Greg came back just to take her off into the ether.
Yep.
Which I think that scene, the ending scene there, where he walks her down the stair, where he picks her up from the chair, and there's her old body just still laid there, and
But
she's young
she
again.
looks young.
The spirits is yeah. And then he walks down the stairs. Martha walks by. I don't even see them. Poor old Martha, because she's the one who's going to find her in the find Mrs. Muir, isn't she? And then the front door just opens and they just walk off into it look like mist or fog outside. What a great ending!
Yeah. Yeah, it was
All them years passing as and Daniel Gregg comes back for it at the end.
Yeah.
It's a great little movie. Anything things what stand out for you?
Yeah, I loved the uncomfortable nature of the ghost running around in London at the publisher's office. That was a super funny. It was one of those sort of I'm gonna ruin things for you kind of. You're gonna do things the way I'd like them thing, kind of two people going at each other slightly. That was really, it was amusing, deeply amusing, and and comedic. And then there was the the walking off at the end was slightly sad and bittersweet, and
Mm.
and
It was. It was a lovely ending, but as you say, it was a bit a sad ending.
yeah, and because and then just the fun, the fun sort of trying to um him trying to speak, she's hearing his voice and then responding to him all over the place, in the train, in the all these funny places. And it was just always like she ended up saying the wrong thing to the wrong people all the time because the ghost was there, and she was kind of having an argument with the captain, and that they're butting heads all the time. It was so funny. It was like geez, what is and awkward. It was all
I,
awkward. It was just really, it's like on the train and like in the store and in just like the little village, like the seaside village. You just felt like, oh God, what is she gonna say now? You're always kind of worried, like what was Mrs. Muir gonna say? And then the awkward introduction to Fairley's wife. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow, that was awkward too. I mean, there's nothing like a British producer to inspire awkward nature. I mean, oh my gosh, it was
That was just like a mic drop, wasn't it?
oh yeah, that was something else. Anyway, yeah,
Uh,
go ahead.
well, I say for me as well, the way they lit certain scenes, where they had the ghost in the shadows, like where she first met him in the kitchen, and he sort of came out of the shadows. So, I mean, this is 1947. Great, great lighting. I mean, it's black and white movie, and for me personally, I think black and white movies do stand the test of time, and they're more atmospheric than the coloured ones. But great lighting from the producers and the cameramen and everything like that. Um,
Yeah, who was it?
it,
Like that was a good
it
special effects team. Go ahead.
yeah, I don't know. Well, the cinematography was Charles Lang, but
And it was Fred
I don't know who did.
Surson did the special photographic effects, and yeah,
Right?
just one person. I said team because here I thought it was a whole team, but no, it's just one dude. But anyway, he did a great job. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was just she lived the rest of her life, as we say, without Fairley and without the captain. You know, and to have a daughter grow up, fall in love with him, with the man of her choice, and it was just Mrs. Muir and Martha in the house, on the dog, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but just a great setting and a great idea for a story. It was quite a simple story, really. A widow just wants to get away from home, or sees a house of her dreams, and then the man of her dreams is the ghost, I suppose. Both in denial that they like each other. Opposites attract.
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, so fantastic movie. As was mentioned before we started, the young Anna, played by Natalie Wood. Um, well, she was just a wonderful actress in her day.
Yep.
I mean, she was about 9 when she played Anna.
Mm-hmm.
So, anything else you want to say about the Ghost of Mrs. Muir?
Um. The music was good too. Like there was like the whole thing was just wonderfully atmospheric music. I just enjoyed
Yeah,
that too.
yeah,
And the other thing was like
yeah.
the the difficulty in intimacy that I just I used to sort of ascribe to all British movie makers, and this is the quintessential. This has the quintessential qualities of that, and I mean, as far as aiming for that, this is the best, probably one of the best of that whole sort of uh genre of filmmaking. I really
Well,
see.
well, the director was American.
Okay, but I mean, in terms of the story and everything, that was very, very much of a kind of a story, and
Mm.
I enjoy that a lot. It's like it's the same kind of thing as My Fair Lady. It's like there's a romance to it, but the romance plays second fiddle to the wonderful story. And of course, Rex Harrison, and it's not him in the Lovebirds. I don't know who it was in that, but it was him in My Fair Lady and stuff. So like
He's
that's
been in
it.
loads of things.
I
Doctor
know.
Doolittle
Dr.
as well.
Doolittle. Yeah, he was in Cleopatra. He was in uh A Time to Die. So I mean, he was in all these things. Ashanti, The Fifth Musketeer. Anyway, he did so many cool things, and not he wasn't ever like a smoochy snoggy romantic lead. He was always like that sort of put together British. uh if you said my dear, you were that was as bad as that was as much as holding hands and smooching in a movie theater for anybody else in the story, that like just those his uh, little wording is it shows the romance and the intimacy. I mean, and he it's just so dang different than it is in other forms of in other
I do, I
nations.
do, I do hope that the afterlife romance of Mrs. Muir and the Ghost lasted, because in real life, Harrison was married 6 times.
Oh, so I mean, he had it sorted on the in the real world, but in his narrative, in his movie states, he was always platonic
Uh,
platonic leading man lover kind of thing. That was just weird.
and, and there's also as well, we find out later on in the movie when Mrs. Muir gets him to promise only to Horn's hair, leave Martha alone, leave her daughter alone. Just it's between me and him, me and him, nothing else.
Yeah.
And then later on, Anna's grown up. She tells her mother that she used to have conversations with the captain. So,
And
so he sort
all
of
the
went,
way up until that she laid down that law, and then
yeah, yeah. So he sort of went back on his word about not, making himself visible to the daughter.
yeah, but I think he'd already done that. I think that the afterwards she said she got very lonesome without him.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
think the first
and
time that young Anna saw the ghost was when he threw the 2 women out the house.
mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, so
The ones that were there to check her out for the school, right?
no, the mother-in-law and the sister,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
where he drags them down the stairs and throws them out.
yeah.
Um, just a little bit of a. Now I don't know why I've got it in my head, but I'm sure this is a bit of trivia. I might be wrong, but I'm sure Rex Harrison's son sang that famous song from a movie, "Windmills of Your Mind."
Oh,
You know that song? You know that song that like a circle, like the windmills in your mind.
I'm sorry, I don't know that.
Windmills in your. I'm sure his son sang that theme song to a movie. I'm sure that was the Thomas Crown Affair.
Oh,
But
oh, that one. Yeah, okay.
yeah, I'm sure that was
I
Rex
believe
Harrison's.
I've heard that a couple times. Yes. Now I
Yeah,
know.
but I'm positive that was Rex Harrison's son who sang that. But there we
Oh,
go. I
okay.
don't see. This was talking about Rex Harrison. That just bit of trivia just came to my head.
That's good trivia. That is.
It's wrong cast, of course, for it to come up. But there you go.
But we haven't done Thomas Crown Affair yet.
Not yet.
Nope,
Not yet.
not yet.
Not yet. So,
Huh.
anything else? Anything else you'd like to say about the movie before we move on?
Um, it's amazing how much activity got she got up to in her little cottage by the sea.
Yeah.
And it's just this doesn't drag. There's no boring bits. It's a very fun movie from start to finish.
Yeah, I agree there. The story just sort of pulls you in.
Yeah, and
And
there's supernatural that is just enjoyable parts of it.
yeah, there's no dull bits, no bits where you sort of wander off. It just a gentle fantasy romantic
Yep.
film and very enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they make more movies like this these days
Uh-huh.
instead
Agreed.
of
Well,
all the action
now
packed special effects.
now we now we I mean, now we're on strike, the Writers Guild of
The
America
writers and the actors.
and the SAG AFTRA actors are on strike. So right now there's not much going on at all this very minute, except for Fran Drescher's becoming sort of empowered like Norma Ray. Oh, it's just so cool. Anyway, union strong here. Um yeah, so it would be good to have more movies like this. I just, it was a season of time when British authors or British filmmakers or writers were making stories that were like sweet and intimate and platonic and not a bunch of snoggy sexy stuff going on. And that was because the drama had its own reality, and that was just such a cool season of British filmmaking. Yeah, I think it was I don't know how to reclaim that, but you know that was definitely a cool season of filmmaking.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll give this a 9 out of 10 pillars with Anna Muir scribbled into them, and say
Great.
let's build a deck or dock or something. Yeah.
Cool, cool. I'm gonna go one better. I'm gonna go the full whack with 10 copies of Blood and Swash out of 10,
Her
which
book.
was the title of the book. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
good.
it's just a fun watchable movie. I mean, for a 1947 movie as well, it does stand the test of time.
Yep.
It doesn't feel dated because it's set in a certain period. Um, coming of the new century and all like that. Yeah, a fun movie. I highly recommend it for you guys out there if you haven't seen it. They did make a TV series of it back in the 70s, I think it was, 60s or 70s. But it was more of a comedy show.
Well,
Um,
this is
set,
genuinely funny.
yeah, they set it in modern times as well.
Oh,
Yeah, but I do prefer the movie.
okay,
It's got something. It's just got something special about it.
okay.
Uh, apart from brilliant acting and all that, there's just something there. So that's our little review of The Ghost and Mrs. Muir.
Yep.
You guys out there, please go out there and watch. Give it a watch. Come back and leave a comment on our video when you've watched this video, of course. Leave a comment below. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Insta, YouTube, of course. If you're on YouTube and you subscribe to our channel, press the bell notification button and you will get notified every time we put up a video. Yeah, no, it still doesn't ding at my end.
Couldn't hear
Um,
it. It's my
now,
ghost bell.
so yeah. And guys, if you want to be involved in this little review things we do every week, okay, yes, we're reviewing movies what are nearly 70-odd-year-old, but hey, we can review anything we want.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter it don't matter if it's a movie 6 months old or 100 years old. We'll
That's
review
right.
it, or a TV show, or an audio drama, or a musical album, or whatever.
Yep.
Because I did get a couple of questions a while back from someone saying, "Why are you reviewing a movie what's 60 years old?" Because that's what we like to do. Because some people haven't seen the movies, some people don't even know the movies exist.
Yeah.
We like to bring these things to the forefront, and we do it because we can. Simple as. So, if you want to say
Yay.
us, if you want to join us, contact us. As you say, we're on all them social media platforms. Just leave us a message. All you need to be is 18 plus. Because say some things we talk about are quite adult themed. So some aren't.
Well, when I
So
mentioned Lady Chatterley's lover, that this is definitely an 18 plus piece of film.
yeah, but that's all we ask to be 18 plus. And you can join us using either a tablet or a PC or a laptop or even a mobile phone these days. All we ask is that you have a camera and a microphone that works, and you're in. Because we like to see each other when we're discussing things. Because I think it's a bit ignorant when you're talking to someone and there's no face there.
No
We've
face.
had
I
that in the
know.
past. Yeah, we have had it in the past from certain people who wouldn't show their faces. I don't know why. Hey, if they thought it was ugly, just look at me and Susan.
Yes, I know, right? Well, so I enjoyed the Ghost and Mrs. Muir, and I think that
She's
we
gone
should
quiet
probably
now.
end up reviewing Ghost and maybe eventually do the little bit of that TV series eventually. I think that those would be quite nice and enjoyable. So yeah, that's my takeaway on this. And yeah, yes, please. So